Hi, I'm here again in SwiftPOS Back Office, and this video closely follows on from the previous video where we talked about setting up receipt printers, specifically using graphical printing. In this video I'm going to cover how to set up a kitchen printer and the various different considerations that go along with that. In some ways it's very similar to setting up a receipt printer, but it does have some unique features which you'll want to take a look at. So I've started out here where I've left off in Connect Touch Settings and Peripherals, and I'm going to go ahead and add a new kitchen printer. So I'll click on Add, and the peripheral type will be Kitchen Printer, and I'll call that Kitchen. Once we've created this peripheral, a similar looking screen will come up to what we saw with the receipt printer, but many of the options that you see here are unique to kitchen printing, and you'll want to take a close look at those to get things printing the way you want to see them, or at least the way your chef wants to see them. I'll start by enabling graphical printing, and then come in here to edit the header and footer. I'm going to click on Fill with Defaults. That will set the header and footer to whatever the default settings are, and it's going to add a lot of the most basic stuff like table number and booking name. There is some stuff here that I don't want to see, so I don't need that at the top. I'm going to click on that guy and delete that. I do want to see docket type, so that's my kitchen printer docket. I do want to see a table number, but I kind of want that to be a bit bigger, so I'm going to shift that element up a little and increase the size. And I'm also going to center that. Similarly with the booking name, I'm going to shift that up a little, increase the size, and I'm going to take booking off the front there, so it just says name. That would be the customer's name. I don't want the date and the time on the header, so I'm going to remove that element entirely. And I'm going to close up a little bit of this white space. I'm going to leave this white space here at the top so that when the docket is actually printed out, it will fit neatly into the docket holder. Next I'll come to the footer, and I do want to change some of this, so I'm going to give myself a bit of space to work with. I don't need to see the receipt number, so I'm going to remove that. I don't want to see the terminal, so I'll remove that as well. But I am going to leave the date and the clerk on the footer. That way, if the chef has any questions about the order, he knows which clerk processed it. I'm going to increase both of those just by a little bit. Leave a little bit of white space at the top there, and close up at the bottom of it. The next thing I'll do is take a look at the kitchen details. This is how things will actually look on the docket, that is to say the products that have been sent to the kitchen. And we definitely need to make some changes here because that text is far too small. So I'll give myself a bit of room, and I'll rearrange everything here. Our instruction line is indented because that's how we like to see our instructions. It differentiates them from the products themselves if they're indented. Product notes doesn't need to be as large as the main product line, so I'll only increase the size on that a little bit. And the seat line I will increase the same amount. Alright, that looks good. I'm not going to worry about the languages at the moment, I'll cover that in the next video. For now, I'll save my changes, and we can take a look at some of the different settings we have here. Most likely you would want to leave Enable Automatic Printing enabled. That's going to ensure that a kitchen docket is printed at the conclusion of each sale, or when a particular item or set of items is put onto a table, it should print a docket automatically into the kitchen. You may or may not want to enable product notes. These are different from instructions. These are product notes which are directly associated with a particular product to describe what might be in that product. For example, the kind of ingredients that might go into a particular main meal. You might like to print using the short description, but in most cases you probably won't. You'll probably want more information on the docket rather than less. And also you may or may not want to show the seats, that is to say the seat number, which is only relevant if you are actually using seat numbers at the point of sale. This wrap feature is a bit of a different subject, which I'll probably get into in another video, so I won't worry about that now, and I'll leave that turned off. Back at the very top, we have group orders by print group and group orders by product. You can choose one or both of those. I generally use group orders by print group, which means each category of product is assigned to a print group, for example, entrees, mains, and desserts. And using group orders by print group will ensure that no matter what the order that these items are added to the sales screen, they will always be rearranged according to the print group. So entrees will come out on top, followed by mains, followed by desserts. And using print groups is quite flexible. That's again something I'll touch on in another video. Over here on the right hand side, you have various different order types. You can specify a particular printer to only print certain types of dockets, for example, just delivery dockets. But for what I'm doing here, I'll just leave all of those enabled. You may also like to print more than just one copy. For example, if you have two chef stations, you might like to print 2 copies so that each chef can have their own copy of that particular docket. For the moment, I'm just going to leave that as 1. And the last thing that I'll look at in here is the categories. So I'll click on Edit Categories. And I did cover this in a previous video, but I'll touch on it again here. Over on the left hand side, we have all of the different possible categories that we can print. And over on the right, we have everything that is currently set to print. We can pick and choose the categories that we want to print by clicking on these guys. You can select multiple by holding down the Control key on your keyboard and selecting whatever might be relevant, and then clicking the arrow across button. I'm pretty happy with that, so I'm going to click OK, and then OK on the subsequent screen, and we're ready to send that to the terminal and start printing. Okay, so now I've updated my terminal, but there's still another step I need to do in order to make sure that those kitchen dockets are going to print correctly. So I'll navigate to Tools, Terminal Settings, Peripheral List, and Kitchen Printer. We're going to edit that peripheral, and we're going to ensure that this is synchronizing with the one that I just set up in Back Office. You may also need to choose a print device if you haven't already got the correct print device selected. I'm just printing using the XPS printer, but if you had multiple kitchen printers or multiple printers in the venue, then you would want to find the correct one and print to that. Now I'll click on OK and OK to save my changes, and we can start putting some items onto a table. And here is my kitchen docket. So you can see at the top we have what kind of docket it is, as well as the table number. We don't actually have a booking name associated with that, but if we did, it would be printed here. And we have a line break, which is used to separate the different kinds of print groups. And we have the name of the print group at the very top, and then all of the items as well as how many were ordered. When you do go through and change the way your kitchen docket looks, you'll probably want to send a few test dockets just to make sure everything is the right size and looks the way you want it to look. So I'm pretty happy with that. Now coming back here to SwiftPOS Back Office, we can add as many kitchen printers as we want, and we can have several of them operating from a terminal if we choose to. For example, we might have different chef stations, one for specifically desserts, perhaps another one for pizzas, perhaps another one for cold larder type meals, so salads and things like that. And we can create an individual peripheral for each of those different types of printer. We can also individually customize how the header and footer of each different type of docket is going to look. And most importantly, we can edit the categories to only print the kinds of foods that we want that printer to print. However, having created that peripheral here in SwiftPOS Back Office is only half of the job. We also need to come back to SwiftPOS Touch, to the Tools menu, Terminal Settings, Peripheral List, and add another peripheral. For that specific printer. And again, we're synchronizing with Back Office to the pizza printer this time. Now there is a little bit more to kitchen printing, but I really don't want to get too deeply into that. However, if there's anything that I've missed or anything that you want to know more about, go ahead and leave me a comment and I'll try to help you out. I hope that's been helpful for you. Thanks for watching and I'll catch you in the next video.